Hey guys, what's up? My name is Sky Webb and I'm here to talk about a true crime story that I cannot get off my mind. But before I get started, I just want to put out a little disclaimer that I mean no harm to any of the victims or the victims' families, and I wish everyone who was hurt within this story the utmost peace and solace, either in rest or in recovery. With that out of the way, happy True Crime Thursday. Welcome back to the channel, or just welcome if you've never been here before. If you haven't, make sure you go and check out some of my other videos. I have videos about some very creepy shit. If you're into creepy shit, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I also just want to apologize for my hair because it's a mess. I haven't done it, obviously. Jesus, I'm running out of time. Angela Hammond was born on the 9th of February 1971 in Kansas City, but she would soon move to Clinton, Missouri to spend her late childhood, early teen years, and early adult life. She was studying in college at this point of time in her life. She also worked as a bank clerk. She also had a boyfriend. And this is what's really sad about this case in particular, is that she was really at one of the peaks of her life. She was doing really, really well in school. She was getting really good grades. She loved her job and she absolutely loved and adored her boyfriend, or should I say fiance, whose name was Rob Schaefer. He was an athlete and he was really, really good looking. He treated her really well, really beautifully, really respectfully, and he also wanted to be in the army, which was pretty cool. He had previously proposed to Angela and she said yes, very, very happily, so they were now happily engaged. And even more crazy than that, Angela and Rob were pregnant. Or Angela was pregnant, and she was 4 months pregnant, and she was so excited. Her friends and family were so excited. Everyone was just so happy and feeling very blessed in this period. Unfortunately, on the 4th of April 1991, that whole dream life that Angela was working really hard to build, that would just be ripped away from her for no fucking reason and out of nowhere. So Rob had spent his afternoon at a barbecue and Angela came and picked him up around 10 p.m. to drop him home because he had agreed with his mum to babysit his younger brother for the night, or until she got home. So he and Angela, who she liked to be called Angie, so I'll probably just call her Angie, Rob and Angie decided that they would hang out afterwards after he had finished babysitting. So after she dropped him off, she went and picked up a friend and hung out with this friend and drove back and forth, and then she was going to meet Rob afterwards. So she picks up this friend and they're just talking and hanging out and driving back and forth and whatever, and Angie starts feeling a little bit sick. She's just feeling a little bit tired and kind of getting over it. Angie just wasn't like feeling it anymore. She was getting tired. She felt a little bit sick. She kind of just wanted to go home and like relax. She didn't want to drive around anymore, and she didn't really want to go out later like she was going to do. Her and Rob were going to go out, and she was like, not really feeling it. So Angie goes and drops her friend back off at her friend's house, back at home. And then she leaves to go towards Rob's, but she stops maybe halfway to Rob's house so that she can use a payphone to call him and let him know, hey, I'm not really feeling good. Do you want to just like hang out, like relax, like chill out, like not actually go out? So she calls him at 11:15 and Rob's totally fine with it. He's totally chill about it. And they're just sort of organizing what they're going to do, like which house they're going to go to, like, you know what I mean? Just like whatever. And this payphone, this was in like a parking lot. So obviously at 11:15, the parking lot's fairly empty. And it was really only Angela's car in there because she was obviously using the payphone, whereas everything else around it was closed. Like the only thing you could really use it was the payphone. So it would make sense to be empty. So as she's talking to Rob about what they're gonna do, she notices that there's a truck driving like sort of around the car park. And she mentions it to Rob and is just like, there's like a sketchy looking truck like driving around. I wonder what he's doing. And she didn't, you know, describe the truck or anything like that. She just described the man that she could see driving the truck. And she was like, there's a filthy, hairy, bearded man driving around in this truck. Like she had a bit of an off feeling because of the way that the man driving looked. So she was like low-key freaked out about it, or a little bit spooked by it, just because of how creepy he looked. Not because she thought anything would happen, but just, you know, when you see someone and it's just like, I don't know what you're doing, so like, you know, like that, just that feeling of like not knowing, I guess. So anyway, this man, he eventually pulls up and he parks his truck like next to the phone booth. So she's kind of watching him like, does he want to use the phone? Like, what is he doing? And he gets out his flashlight and he starts looking all around the ground. So Angela says to Rob, the guy got out of his truck, he's parked right fucking next to it. Like, what is the go? What's happening? What do I do? And Rob was like, well, does he need to use the phone? Like, is that what's happening? So Angela says to the man, she turns to him and says, do you need to use the phone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's trying to initiate some sort of communication so that she doesn't feel creeped out by this man who's like looking for something. But it was very obvious at this point in time that there was nothing there. Like, he's looking at the floor of the car park, which is all open, and I was like, there's nothing there, dude. So the man says no. He's like, no, you go ahead, and he continues looking for nothing. The next thing that Rob hears on the phone is Angela screaming. She screams and then the line goes dead. So obviously at that moment, Rob's heart absolutely fucking sunk. But despite that obvious like initial like, oh my God feeling of like, fuck, she's in trouble, he just sprinted to his car, got in his car and started driving straight to this phone booth because he knew exactly where it was. And it was only about 7 blocks away. So there was a good chance that he could get there in time to help her. So as he's driving to see her and he's like going as fast as he can, and this is a thing, is I don't even know how he did this, and had things have turned out differently, I would have said that this was like some kind of miracle, like this was just incredibly lucky. But now I don't know because of how things did turn out. But as Rob's driving down, he passes this truck, doesn't pay it any attention, doesn't pay it any mind, he's just driving straight to the phone booth. But then he hears Angie calling his name. So he's looking around now like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And driving past him is a green pickup truck, and Angie is in the back with her head like she's trying to scream out this tiny little gap in the window, her head pressed up against the window, screaming out his name. She's screaming, Robbie, like, help, Robbie. So Rob, he literally just like whacks his car into reverse, does a full fucking turn, and then starts speeding after this fucking green pickup truck. And so the truck shits there and he speeds up, and then Robbie speeds up, and I just called him Robbie. I didn't know him like that. And they get into a bit of like a high speed car chase because neither one of them are willing to like slow down or give up at this point. And they do this for 2 miles. Rob follows him for 2 miles before this car makes a really, really sharp right turn all of a sudden. And Rob follows, he manages to get in there, but as he does so, his car literally just goes like fucks itself and comes to a stop. And it's because when he originally turned around and put it into reverse and like whacked it around, he fucked the transmission in the car essentially. And so it just, yeah, the car couldn't keep going, but Rob was desperate at this point. He, like, that's his fucking fiance and baby, like, in something like, oh my God, I can't even imagine the fear that he would have been going through. So he tries to chase after the car on foot. He tries to run after this truck. And it didn't take very long for him to realize, like, there's literally no way that he's going to be able to catch him on foot. So he goes back to the car. He actually tries fixing the car so that he tries starting it again so that he can continue to follow. And as soon as a car like drives past, he calls out for help and says, take me to the police station, like straight away, and goes and makes a report. So Rob told the police everything he knew about the situation. He said, like, this is obviously Angela, these are photos of her, this is what she looks like. And then he was like, and this is what the man looks like based off of Angela's description, which was hairy, dirty, had a beard, like scruffy, you know what I mean? And then he also gave his own description of this green pickup truck that he had followed for quite a long time. It was a green pickup truck with a white roof. Rob even noticed that it had a sticker on the back, a big fish sticker, which was, you know, supposed to help identify the car. And he also even noticed that there was sort of like damage to the body of the car, which again would be a great like identification thing. So like, hats off to Rob. Like, he literally did everything that he possibly could. And I don't know, when I was looking into this, I just felt like this should have been such an easy case to solve. Like, not easy, like bam, it's done. Like, it's never easy, but like, I don't know, I just feel like if this happened today with like good police, like, you have everything you need. You have a full description, you know the car, like, you know the direction, like, so as I said, Rob told police everything, including the description. He even knew the make and the model, like everything about this truck he knew. And it wasn't just his description that they were going off either. They actually had 2 other witnesses come forward that could like corroborate, that's not the word. Corroborate. Yeah, so they had 2 other witnesses that came forward to corroborate his story and say that, yeah, there was actually a green pickup truck with a white roof and a fish sticker that was being a little bit sus around this payphone, like literally at the time just before her disappearance. So they knew it was him, you know what I mean? Like, they knew it was that truck and it wasn't Rob just like mixing things up. But anyway, the police drew up some police sketches of what this man might look like so that they can put it out into the public and, you know, try and find him. And the police sketch was of a clean shaven man with no hair, like not no hair, but like no beard. It wasn't shaggy hair, he wasn't hairy, he didn't look dirty like the way that she described him. It looked completely different. And this is something that people have always wondered about and always debated about, because a lot of people feel like if they had have put out a photo of a man with like a scruffy beard and scruffy hair, the way that Angela described him and the way that Rob has now described him, they might have found him. Who the fuck is having a shower while I'm filming? But some people believe that this was done on purpose due to the police believing whatever, that the man had worn a fake beard and like was fake scruffy and all that as like a disguise on purpose, because he had intended to go out and kidnap someone and didn't want to look like himself. And a lot of people do believe that, but I'm very curious as to what evidence, or like not evidence, but like what made the police think that, because I couldn't find that. Anyway, they went and tried to find this truck, and they actually searched hundreds of trucks, but they couldn't find a truck that matched the description fully with the body damage or a sticker, or you know what I mean? So it didn't really help. And so at one point, Rob was actually being considered as a suspect because they didn't believe him, which is so fucked up considering the real story. But when those 2 witnesses came forward about seeing the truck as well, he was let off the hook, thank God. But they did make him take a polygraph test as he was telling his like version of events, which is like crazy. Poor kid, like poor guy. I really feel bad for him, honestly. But he took the polygraph test and he obviously passed with flying colors, and yeah, I just think that's like crazy. At this point, they had absolutely no idea what they were doing. They had help from other detectives, from other police districts and whatever, but they just had nowhere to go. They didn't have any leads. They didn't have anything to push this case forward. And so eventually it was just named a cold case. I really, really wish that I could like give you some closure and give you some answers, but I can't, because nobody knows to this day what the fuck happened to Angie, and like that is so heartbreaking. Let me know what you think about this case. I really want to know what you think about the man. Do you think he really did have a beard in that, or do you think that he was disguised? And do you think that's why the police drew him up differently? Because that to me makes no sense. And also, do you think that had they have released a different police sketch, that might have helped? Like maybe they could have released both police sketches and said, you know, look for both. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, or you can head over to my Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, which is all linked in the description down below. And let me know there, because I would really love to hear your opinions. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you feel like it. I would really appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe so that you can see all my new videos. I post every single Thursday all about true crime, and I would love to have you be a part of it. Make sure you guys are being safe out there. Don't use public payphones in empty car parking lots, not because you get kidnapped, but just because drunk people piss in them, and that's kind of gross. Don't drive your car like you're in Fast and the Furious, because you'll fuck your transmission, and that's a really bad plan. And most importantly, watch out for guys in fake creepy beards, cause fuck that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye. Any more? thought there was something in my hair, but it's just ridiculously curly there for some reason. Anyway, oh my god, what am I talking about?